peeling paint of the mailbox mocked me as I fumbled with the keys. 4B. My new address. A fresh start, or so I hoped. The for rent sign had been plastered on the window of Oak Haven Apartments for months. Desperate and priced just low enough to be barely affordable, I jumped at it. Now, standing in the dimly lit hallway, a knot of unease tightened in my stomach. The air was thick with the scent of dust and something vaguely metallic, like old blood. The building groaned around me, a chorus of settling foundations and whispering pipes. I forced a smile. Character, I told myself. It has character. My apartment was small, barely bigger than a shoebox, but the rent was manageable. The kitchen appliances were vintage, generously speaking, and the bathroom tile was cracked, but it was mine. Or, at least, rented mine. After unloading the last of my meager belongings, I decided to introduce myself to the neighbors, maybe even make a friend. Urban isolation was a real thing, and I was determined not to succumb. 2A was empty, a fact Mr. Abernathy, the landlord, had conveniently forgotten to mention. They moved out just last week, he'd rasped, his eyes darting away. The door to 3B was adorned with a collection of wind chimes that tinkled ominously in the drafty hallway. No response when I knocked. Finally, I reached 4A. Mrs. Dubois, a sweet elderly woman with a cloud of white hair, welcomed me with open arms and a plate of slightly stale cookies. She was a fountain of gossip, filling me in on the history of Oak Haven, its previous tenants, and Mr. Abernathy's questionable maintenance habits. She was a welcome distraction from the unsettling atmosphere of the building. "And then there's Mr. Henderson in 4B, she said, lowering her voice. "Keeps to himself. Been here for years, but I haven't seen him properly in months. Poor soul. Always was a bit eccentric." 4B, my apartment, and Mr. Henderson, the mysterious tenant. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. I thanked Mrs. Dubois for the cookies and headed back to my apartment, a growing sense of unease gnawing at me. The first few weeks passed without incident. I settled into a routine, commuting to my temp job downtown, exploring the neighborhood, and trying to ignore the pervasive feeling that I was being watched. The walls were thin, and I could often hear muffled sounds from 4B, the shuffling of feet, the occasional cough, the rhythmic ticking of a clock. I never saw Mr. Henderson. One evening, I returned home to find a notice slipped under my door. "Water shut off tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Abernathy." Annoyed, I trudged down the hall to find Mr. Abernathy. His office was a cramped, cluttered space in the basement, smelling of mildew and cheap cigarettes. "Mr. Abernathy, about the water shut off."